Before we start today's episode, I want to make an announcement. My 8-week, very small group coaching program for beginners to macros will open in September. And this very small group program is meant for women who want to build muscle, get stronger, get fitter, get leaner, and lose some body fat as well. This program is called Simplified, and it's meant for women who are new to macros. So we start from the beginning, and I'm going to teach you all the steps that I personally took to when I first got started with macros. And as a result, I was able to lose quite a bit of body fat. I gained a lot of muscle. I started feeling a lot more comfortable in my clothes and even went down a couple of dress sizes, and I didn't miss out on any of the foods that I liked. So it was way different from what I had done previously in the past, where all my fat loss, weight loss was always based on how much should I run, how little can I eat. So it's very, very different from that mindset. If you want to be the first one to hear about this program when it opens, then what you can do is get on the waitlist. Getting on the waitlist simply means that you will be notified first when doors open, because like I said, this group will be very small and spots are very limited. So if you want to do that, then make sure to hop on my waitlist. The link is available everywhere. It is in my Instagram bio, it is YouTube description and show notes as well. So do that, and I'll see you in the episode.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the next episode of the Balanced Vibes podcast. My name is Kirsten, and today I want to talk about an interesting fact that you maybe have sometimes seen in these circles where people sometimes are very much against the idea of weight loss, and they say it's harmful, you're not going to be able to lose weight, or if you're able to lose weight, you're not going to be able to keep it off, and so therefore there's no reason to even try that. And so the fact that you may have seen sometimes, and I have seen many times, is that only 5% of people who lose weight and body fat are able to keep it off. Only 5% of people who lose weight or body fat are able to keep it off. So in other words, there's 95% of people, a huge majority, who will gain the fat and body weight that they lost, they will gain it back. And so the conclusion that often follows is that why would you then even bother to go through this journey, to go through some kind of crazy weight loss plan or a diet, to lose a little bit of weight and then gain everything back? Because now you are yo-yo dieting and you're messing up your metabolism, plus then all the emotional aspect of it, like, oh, I'm a failure, I couldn't do this again, I'm not gonna ever try this again, and then yet still go and try another diet. And so there's like so much negative happening that why would you even then try? And isn't it just better to accept where you're right now and not even try weight loss? And to me, this really sounds disempowering, and it sounds really like short-sighted to say that, because this is what statistics says, you should never even try weight loss. And I want to offer like a different perspective to it today. And I want to say that what if we, instead of saying that don't even try any weight loss and fat loss, what if we instead take a look at what have those 5% of people who maintain the results, what have they done differently from the rest of the 95% who did not maintain the results? Because isn't it super disempowering if you tell somebody who wants to lose body fat, wants to get in a better shape, and there are so many people who need this, right? Who want to feel better about their bodies, who want to have better energy, who want to fit in their clothes, who maybe gained weight in 2020 because they were sitting at home or were isolated, and they just ate more comfort food. People who maybe have been more athletic in the past and then they gain weight, whatever the reason. Maybe they have a health reason. Maybe they have like a lot of overweight that's really bad for their health. And you know what? Let's not say that having too much fat tissue in the body, it's not a bad thing. Of course it is. So what if you now told that person that don't even bother to try, because it's not gonna be, you're not going to be able to keep that up? So to me, it sounds really disempowering. Why are we telling people that? Instead, they need to hear what can they do differently, what can they do right in order to be in that 5% who is able to keep that weight off. So I want to talk about 5 things that those those 95% of people who probably gained the weight back, what they probably did, and how is that different from that 5% who is able to lose the weight and lose the body fat and get healthy and get fit. How are these two groups of people different? And so I want to start with the type of diet. So the 95% of people, those who are not able to maintain the results, they probably did a crazy restrictive diet that was unsustainable. But we cannot forget that not all diets are like that. Or diets, when I say diet, I use it kind of like loosely. So when I say that the 95% of people are on a restrictive diet, it looks like eating 1,000 calories a day or 1,200 calories a day, or it can be like limiting themselves to only one food group, or cutting out all the carbs, or having like a deadline, like in 10 weeks I have to lose this much, and that's why I'm gonna take my calories super down. So if the approach is like that, then there's a one big red flag why this diet didn't work, because it's just so restrictive. Now, when we look at the other side of this thing, what are the 5% of the people who are able to maintain the results? What is their diet like? It's nothing like that. So they are not doing anything ridiculous to lose that body weight, body fat so quickly. What they might be doing instead is that they're actually learning about nutrition. They're educating themselves. And, it can be with macro tracking. It can be just like portion sizes. It can be by kicking out a lot of the processed foods and then replacing them mostly with healthy and whole foods. And they start to notice, oh, this makes me feel better. Oh, my energy is better. Oh, I'm fuller longer. I don't have these hormonal issues that I had before. They learn about nutrition and they understand how food impacts them. They make these connections instead of just cutting their calories super low and then not having any education there. So that's why, it's the right thing to say that diets don't work. Those really low calorie diets, they really don't work. And those people who try them like one after another, hoping that maybe this one will be the solution, maybe this is the reason why they always end up with the same result, which is gaining the weight back. But there's a big difference between that and between somebody who's actually learning about the nutrition, allowing themselves to eat. Allowing is such a silly thing to say. I'm using air quotes here because we're adults here, right? But like allowing themselves to eat like all the things, but just having more moderation and more healthier options, there's a big difference. And so if you now lose weight by eating healthier foods, by focusing high protein, focusing on mostly real foods and lots of fiber, and this person is losing weight, can they keep it off? There's a way higher chance that this is going to be the case. The second difference between these groups of people is that the first group, who is losing weight but not able to keep it off, is probably using some very extreme exercise method. And so I have not watched The Biggest Loser, but I have read about it. This is just not a good use of my time. I'm just not engaging with stuff like that. But this is what I've heard. Like people are going on these like exercise programs that are like so intense. They beat themselves up like with so much cardio and so much running, a lot of HIIT training, and then of course low calorie eating, and then it becomes unsustainable. Because people learn to hate exercise, right? If the only association with exercise is like punishment, then of course you're gonna hate it. Of course you don't want to do this anymore. And then once that the program is over, then you're just like, okay, I'm done here. Like screw this. I'm gonna go back to eating the old way that I did because I didn't learn anything. And also I'm gonna stop exercising completely, right? Then of course the weight comes back on. Why are we so surprised? Now the other group of people who are using moderate exercise and who are mostly focusing on strength training and getting plenty of movement, right, throughout the day, who are not doing like, I hate this cardio, but I have to get this done because otherwise my coach is going to be mad and my weight is going to go up. Like those who are focusing on getting their steps in, moving around, making better habits with movement. They're literally parking their cars further away. They are taking their dogs out multiple times a day. They're finding ways to, maybe they're not sitting on their butts when they're watching their kids' soccer game or football, whatever, baseball game. Maybe they are walking. So these people are building healthy habits. And now when you also add some resistance training, you're going to see what it can do for a metabolism. And we have talked about this so many times on this podcast, how lifting weights will build your metabolism. And it's the result, like the calorie burn result, is not as instant as what you would get from tons of cardio. You maybe don't sweat as much, you maybe don't burn as many calories, but what you're doing is that day after day, when you go in and lift weights, you're building your metabolism. And this is where the real gains come from. This is how you really build a body that burns body fat and becomes more flexible. And what that means also is that your metabolism becomes more flexible, and that allows you to then later eat, more the things that are like off limits on any diet. It's like, oh my goodness, you can have a slice of cake and be fine. Yes, because you were lifting weights and because you were strong and you have this like burning metabolism that's working all the time, right? So there's a big difference in exercise too between these two groups of people. The next difference is that those who lose weight and gain it back, 100%, they went into this whole project of weight loss with a huge urgency mindset. For example, in 4 weeks, I gotta be down this many pounds. By my vacation, which starts in 6 weeks, I gotta be in the bikini shape. And that will lead us to making terrible choices. That will take us back to the first 2 points, which are I'm gonna cut my calories to zero, and I'm gonna exercise as much as I can until I'm like basically dead. And this is how I'm going to get to my vacation. What happens on a vacation, we can only guess, right? Which actually reminds me of one of the trainers that I worked with. He was not my trainer, but I knew like he was a trainer for somebody else. And what he did was that these are his words. He said, I'm going to put this bride, like this woman was getting ready for getting married. I'm going to put her on a 900 calorie diet. And he would just like do so hard workouts with her. And I was thinking like, what the heck are you doing? What do you think is going to happen after that wedding? She's going to just eat everything because she has been so deprived. She probably hates exercise by that time. And then she just now, after the wedding day is over, I don't know if she's even able to enjoy her wedding day. Like she's probably starving, hungry, and then she's just going to binge on stuff. This is just the most normal response that you can expect from your body. So if there's like an urgency mindset going into like, I'm going to have to cut to like, I don't know what weight in super short amount of time, then it's just designed to fail. It's just designed to fail. Versus now when we have somebody who's patient and who understands that the weight didn't come on overnight, it's not going to also come off overnight. Now we're talking about a different type of person. And this person knows that, yes, it's going to take some time. It's going to take weeks, and I'm going to accept it's going to take months, and I'm going to accept that my weight loss, fat loss is going to be slow. And this person knows that if she loses like half a pound a week, that's a win. She's not going to be like, oh, it's been only 4 pounds in 4 weeks and I'm disappointed, it's terrible. 4 pounds in 4 weeks is great. It's great. 2 pounds in 4 weeks is great too, right? So we gotta realize that slower fat loss is usually more sustainable fat loss. And what we also learn throughout this journey is patience, right? Patience. So this is another big thing that is different between these two people who are losing weight. One is able to keep it off because she had this approach like, I'm going to do it slowly, I'm going to do it steadily, and I'm going to be patient with myself, versus the other one who went into this rushing. The next difference, and this is the fourth one, is that the way we talk about food and think about food and are around food is so different between these two groups of people. Now, those who want to get the weight loss super fast and then do extreme stuff and do extreme training and are also the ones who are not able to keep that lost weight off, these people have a very negative mindset around food. It's like, this is good and this is bad. Can't have that. Can't have that. If I eat this, I'm a bad person. This food is terrible. Blah, blah, blah. All this BS that, we tell ourselves about food. And I want this conversation. I want the way you see food. I want this to be like really neutral. Yeah, food is food. And some foods are better in some ways than the others, but it's not like one is forbidden and the other one is allowed, right? Because sometimes a piece of chocolate can be a really good food choice if it gives you something that's just needed right now. Maybe you wanted it in motion, that's fine, have a little bit. But of course, most of the time, eating proteins and veggies and good carbohydrates, this is a good choice. This is a really healthy choice, and that's what we should be making most of the time. But now to say that all chocolate is bad, cake is bad, I can't have that, pizza is bad, can't have that, if I have that, I'm a bad person, this is gonna set you up for a big failure and potentially being that one who's in that 95% of people who is losing the weight because now they were so, they had so much willpower, they said no to pizza and cake and wine and all this stuff that they want to. They said no to that, they lost the weight, and now they cannot anymore say no to that. And now they start binging and now they overeat. So think about it this way. So if you go to like a party, what is your food talk going to be like? Let's say that there are, I don't know, what's something that most people like, maybe let's say it's chocolate cake, right? That's chocolate cake. And so you have your goal and you're dedicated to your goal. And now there's this cake and you're like, I can't have this, this is bad for me, I can't have this. So if you have a goal and you prefer to not have that slice of cake, what if you told yourself that I choose to not have this because it doesn't align with my goals right now? Or if you really want this, there's going to be some days when you really want this, you're going to be like, you know what, I'm going to have a slice and I'm going to move on. Maybe I share this with my friend or partner or child, kid or whatever. And you can have this. So there's a big difference between like saying, I can't have this is bad, or like I choose because this is what I want for my health right now. I want to make a different choice. So it becomes self-care versus like self-hate. And this is actually the next and the last point that I want to bring up, what I think is a difference between these two groups of people is that self-talk. So those who typically lose weight but then gain it back, they have a very negative self-talk because they ate, quote unquote, the food that was bad and now they are bad, right? They also go into this weight loss journey with like, oh, I hate so much, I hate myself so much. They're using like really ugly language and like it's really like beating themselves up for like gaining weight, and like the words that some people use to describe about themselves can be really bad. So this is something that you have to look out for, because I want you to be throughout this journey, be like forgiving, and not forgiving necessarily, but like accepting, and also maybe forgiving if you did have that, something that you wasn't maybe the best choice for you. Then you also got to be forgiving and be like kind and be understanding and be okay with where you are exactly right now and be okay with all that. So those who are able to keep their weight off, I believe that what they do a lot is having a healthy self-talk too, because no matter what food choice you make, it doesn't make you a good or bad person. Food really doesn't have a morality, and it doesn't have the ability to make you a certain person. So you have to have a positive, kind of kind, very patient self-talk and understand that I am on this journey because I want this better health for myself. I want to look better. I want to look leaner. I want to gain muscle. I want to feel better. I want to have more energy. I want to have healthy hormones. I want to have all these things. And also part of being healthy is having a good positive self-talk. It's very hard to accomplish anything when you are really hard on yourself. Maybe for a little while you can get some results, but it's so exhausting to be like a total bitch to yourself. It's so exhausting. It's fatiguing, and it's not going to help you on your journey. So these are the 5 differences between those who are able to keep that weight off and those who gain everything back on. And I just want to say it again, just because the statistics supposedly shows that only 5% of people are able to keep that weight off, it doesn't mean that you should never try to change your body composition. Like, don't get discouraged. Just have better approach. Just learn about nutrition. Like, do healthy exercise. Have a lot of patience and not urgency. Be kind to yourself. Have a healthy relationship with food. Check in with your self-talk. Check in with like how you see food. What kind of adjectives you are using, even in your head when you talk about food, and what you're saying out loud. All this matters, because if you want to keep your weight you lose your weight and want to keep it off, you have to change your whole mindset. You have to change the way you think and see the food. And this is the only way to get results. So once again, I want to remind you that the waitlist for my Macro Simplified program is open. Make sure to join that. If you want to be the first one to hear about it when the program opens, the program is going to be small, limited to 10 people only, and I hope to see your name on that list. Waitlist link is everywhere where I am. So YouTube description, Instagram bio, show notes, and my blog as well. So thank you so much for being here today, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.